не оставит никого равнодушным, потому что там лайфхаки про планирование. Это спойлер. Все, тогда я с вами прощаюсь. Завтра виртуально только увидимся еще. И давайте. Всем спасибо за внимание. Пока-пока.
26 человек осталось. Loves, I came back on Twitter as myself. Can you imagine? I just want to find people that I actually like to follow and not feel like pressured to follow. I think it's much more efficient to have people in your like Telegram and Signal rather than on Twitter. I just don't like Twitter at all. I think it's not a great platform. And I don't know, I just feel like it's not even like hype based on anything that I enjoy. I don't think Web3 community understands this Web3 technology behind it. I think it's just another collective hysteria of hype. It is really, really boring, actually. I don't understand how these people get so many followers, to be honest. Do you know? I don't understand why this company that is pretending to be a community whatever, pusher of culture has mentioned, the people that I have looked at. Just wanted to understand why, and I can't understand. I just can't understand. Those people are nothing that are doing anything interesting, I think. And look, I don't think I'm wasting time with you because I think it's important for me to study. On what those people think are worth mentioning, but at the same time, there's no value in what I'm saying in terms of like even this list. Nick Hollins hosting. Nick and I spent quite interesting time in Thailand together in Artesia and Jayan in 2019, and kind of lost touch with this person. But maybe a good idea to re-establish touch, warm up the connection. So many people from my past do not have good experience of me, to put it lightly, somehow. And I guess they mentioned people who tweet a lot. So cute. But it is so much noise. Like, really a lot of noise. This is true, Ellen. I agree with you that this is real. Somehow. And the thing is, with that, people who reposted all the or added all of these that we're checking out, these accounts, they didn't even categorize these accounts into like, hey, this is a group of this, and this is a group of that. Like, they just did it just for the sake of doing it. And when people do something just for the sake of doing it without the intention behind it, it's really triggering my soul. I guess it's the people who, like network, part of the network. But yo, your network really sucks. Like very random. Frog person. That's cute that she created the lens stuff. But really, I don't use lens. Check this out. Oh, they have new. Oh no, it's lens there. Because the wallet thing, and I'm like, guys, I'm not interested. Really. don't like about Twitter is that you have this here, and then you have this here, and then in the end you got this much of actual content. Just not designed well. One click, close it. June. Let's listen to this for now. Because I'm not in the mood of speaking with you.
Here as well, so it's not every time easy in Web3, especially if you're female, but it's amazing to share the knowledge and support between each other. So in any case, we are providing digital fashion services for traditional brands on their way to move to the metaverse, including AR filters as well. Tag Tapers, would you like to go ahead as well to introduce yourself next?
You could also, if it's not a convenient time, you could also wait until just before you're ready to answer the question. Once Svetlana's finished, you could introduce yourself before answering if you're busy.
Okay, does somebody want to introduce themselves?
So much.
Well, good morning, everyone.
I see.
Hello.
You guys,
Hi, Lo.
good morning. You guys are rocking it this morning. It feels great to be back for another Fashion Friday. So good morning to everyone. And I love this conversation. So just to kind of get into it, I'm Mo, founder of the Raw DAO, where we focus on education, networking, and transforming physical to digital, and show everyone how they can use their gifts.
Physical
and
doesn't need to be
businesses
transformed to
do just
digital.
that. As well as founder of the
Thank you very
PTV
much.
Raw Network, where we host events throughout the metaverse and stream them live across social media. Just like this right now, I am in one of our metaverse jets, actually the Raw DAO's jet, streaming this Twitter space in there, and then streaming that on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. So never let these numbers fool you, because we are documenting these amazing conversations and using them to help bring the awareness to those that are going to be continue coming into this space. So that's what I'm all about. That's why I love coming to different events and just capturing these moments and showcasing it in all the different ways that I can imagine. And that's what I love bringing to this space.
That's so lovely.
You're so incredible.
Yeah, so lovely.
This actually looks good.
I'll jump in.
I love your jet. Oh, okay, go for it. I was just gonna say, I've been on Mo's jet before, and it was such an impressive experience. It was my first time being on a metaverse jet, and it really did feel like the real thing. To look outside, and she had the champagne. I mean, she made me feel so welcome. She had, it was just really impressive. But GM, Jacob, it's so good to hear your voice.
Hello. Good morning. How are you?
Oh, we're doing so well. It's so good to be with family this morning.
It's an honor and pleasure to be here as always. Looking forward to the conversation today.
I'll jump in.
So good. Okay, great. Please do introduce yourself.
Oh, sure. Well, I'm so excited to be here. I've met up with Maximilian in another group, and she's got to read around my thesis. But these ideas of
And share a little sneak peek. We are going to launch our AR dress very soon, which you will be able to try on and post some videos and share your personal stories. I cannot say too much about the
I love her
theme
accent.
behind the dress, but it is related to tapping into our creative energies. Actually, Maximilian, for sure, I think you would love
it's Eastern European
to
or
try it on. I literally
Spanish?
see you as a queen of this outfit.
Like Eastern
So-
European more, like.
So as I mentioned, 010 app, I would like to note that there have been pretty much
Like Serbia?
They are they were like almost the first to showcase this incredible quality, precision in garment attachment and movement imitation. Can I actually pin a post of me wearing the dress? I think it's
Oh my gosh, yes, please.
Oh my gosh.
Please.
Please. Shut the
me
fuck
and
up.
it it was actually funny how it was filmed, because me and professional photographer rented a professional photo studio in Milan to make some photos.
Milan,
with
okay,
AR
like Italian.
clothing
Yeah, I
using
should have
different, applications.
said that first.
Also 010, of course.
Super
It was
cute
actually
accent.
pretty fun and very difficult, and experience completely different from the normal fashion photography. You need to like really rely on lighting a lot and remember.
So they
about
basically scout
camera
people
radius, because
on
it has
Twitter.
very,
That's
the
what I
phone
see.
camera has very different.
And their strategy is to get
implementations,
Twitter
like,
people
from the normal
involved.
camera. So it was
I don't believe in
pretty
this strategy.
hard, I would
People
say.
who I really, really, really respect are not on Twitter. You guys are
It was really
okay.
funny. So
Wrong strategy.
I pinned the tweet,
Communications-wise.
and it was really fun. I think we will see, of course, much more better implementations in the future. I want to note the progress of all AR applications has been like increasing dramatically, and digital fashion industry in general. All
There's
these
no
are
industry
moving
in
like
digital
incredibly
fashion.
quickly. I remember after Snapchat, 010 was almost the first one to provide such experiences almost a year ago. Now I see there are many different implementations, such as like Closey application, which I found recently, but I see that they were on the market for quite a while already. Yeah, I'm going to test them very soon. Recently, also, I heard about interesting app with AR filters in general. You need to log in there with your wallet address, and all AR face filters, including jewelry filters, are for sale like NFTs. Once you buy a filter, you will need to download this application to use it, but you can share it across the social media with no problems. The thing is that you will own the piece. You will own this AR filter. It will remain in your MetaMask, and no matter what the creator will do, you will remain the owner of that. And you cannot say what you cannot say about like Instagram or Snapchat, right? Then moving to digital fashion overall, I think, of course, DressX is making a great progress too, especially if we are talking about like physical digital try-ons. I know they partnered with Snapchat and have their own physical monitors, which actually for the first time I've seen in Miami. So you will need to select an item from DressX AR catalog, just as on their application from the phone. The camera will capture your movements and show it in real time on the monitor. Then, of course, you can download the video and share it on socials. But the thing is that it is much more interesting, since the monitor is big and camera's quality is, of course, much higher than from the phone. I honestly believe that we will see more and more monitors like these in Europe in general. I'm not sure if you have it already in America and how many. For every brand, especially inside e-commerce stores, for example, inside the headquarters of e-commerce stores like Luisa Via Roma or My Teresa. Like look at the December collaboration between Bershka and DressX. They made AR filters which you could access on DressX app. However, imagine you go to Bershka store and there is this monitor. You can make a fun picture with a huge code, maybe which you don't want to buy for every day, but you would like to have a picture in it, right? Or maybe you don't wear fur because you are vegan or something like this. Whatever. Then you post this photo on Instagram or the video on Instagram, and you get a Bershka discount. It's fun, engaging, and users are also benefiting somehow from this. So I think in the future we will see more interactions of like on more implementations of online experiences into physical stores and in our like physical normal lives. This is my opinion about the future.
This is so fascinating. That's my favorite development that I've heard now, is this idea of, I'm just going to call it modeling to earn. What? I remember when Instagram really took off, there was like this, because, you know, I'm from Los Angeles, and so, you know, Los Angeles people were so creative, you know, and I remember there's a lot of people calling themselves Instagram models. And it's like, oh, what agency are you with? Instagram, you know, because everyone really, I think it was because of the filters, people got really comfortable using them and taking lots of, making content of themselves. So that's one of the things that I'm most looking forward to, is the freedom that people feel when they use these filters. It's just so encouraging for people to use their creativity, even things like, even things that are not directly AR, but things that accompany it, like for example, our little stickers and things that we're able to dress up our posts with, whether it's a few words, maybe to tag a designer. I love the way that we are starting to use these different integrations kind of together. I feel like many Instagram and social media posts these days are more like a collage. It's music, it's the AR, it's a few words, maybe even a link to something that matters to you, like your own event. It's really incredible.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Actually, what I've been thinking recently is an interesting thing you can do with AR filters, which are sold as NFTs. For example, you can send them as invites for private events as well, and then people come for example, for Fashion Week, but it's only by private invites, and they have to show this AR filter that they have it on their platform, maybe with the not necessarily the coat, the garment, or like the top, but it can be a sticker, as you say, the name of the designer, which they could try to use. I think there's so many things you can do with AR from the phone in the physical life, and it just depends on your creativity. That's why Web3 is so interesting, because it's unknown. It's something what we are all building since a pretty long time, as we understand. Like NFC technology was so much time ago developed, right? Like 10 years ago or more. And it's still growing. So we have so much time to go and to learn from each other.
I've got a question.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Brendan.
Oh, sure, thanks.
Michael.
Svetlana, could you
Wait, but it's
expound
not the same
upon
Michael that I know.
the AR
It's not
filters
Healy,
and
it's Haley.
the different implementations of that by different companies, or I'm just interested in finding a little bit more about how that's evolving. Thanks.
Yeah, sure, of course. Like, for example, you imagine you are using any e-commerce website where you would like to see different garments. You want to buy a t-shirt, for example, but you're not sure if this size will suit you, right? And you can try AR filter, which they promote on their website together with this t-shirt, and you could try and actually see the size of exactly this item, right? And you can understand if it fits you, if it is like big sleeves or like short sleeves, or how it looks like. Because, for example, sometimes when you go on even Zara, you cannot understand how garment looks in real life, because they use some super fancy modeling pictures, and you cannot really understand, okay, is it long, is it short, how it will suit me, because the model is maybe very tall or it's very thin. I have another size, I'm looking differently, so how it will suit me without actually going to the store and buying the item. So it can decrease the amount of returns, and it can actually benefit the brand as well. So this is one, I think, of the best examples.
There's a company called Concepts to Connections. I sent that to Maximilian in a private DM, and they're doing just that, right? This is the whole thing, So basically, they have multiple different implementations. You have a monitor. You jump in front of the monitor. There's AR. The AR puts the dress on you, but they're also doing some other things on the back end in terms of clothing design, where you can order the material from them, and they'll fab the dress for you, and I believe even drop ship it to you. So I get all that, but my question is actually more in terms of specifically the AR filters, and where do you get them? Is it specific to different social media platforms, or what? What's the implementation of the AR filters?
Yeah, I can go on it, but I think Stella, maybe you would like to jump on this question.
Hey, good morning, guys. Thanks for having me. Hi, Brendan.
Hello.
Maybe. Oh, it's so nice being here. Yeah, so there are different options, right? I mean, I just was approached by someone who really wants to do AR filters on Instagram, which I'm like so against, but you know me. So that's an option, right? Especially if you already have an audience. So you can do it with Spark AR and Meta Facebook essentially in cahoots. You can do it on and with Snapchat. The application for that is Lens Studio, and I'm personally testing out right now Get Filter. which is really nice. And I'm testing out 010 app because I'm doing a collaboration with them. So I think Svetlana, yeah, she's already dropping like 100 stars in here. I think 010 app is probably the way to go, especially for full body garments. So I think it also really depends on
this.
what is the audience you want to hit, right? So I think that's the question you should ask yourself, or the brand you're working for.
You don't need to
whatever,
hit the audience.
first, and then
Audience doesn't
identify
wanna
the
be
app to
hit.
go with. And of course, there are also software development kits. So worst comes to worst, and you really want to do a standalone thing, I guess GitHub would be the best place to start and look for pieces of code. Svetlana, you're taking over.
Yeah, I wanted just to add that I completely agree with what you said. It depends on the audience, depends also on the country, not only on the audience, but also on the country. Because I noticed that in Europe here, we don't use a lot Snapchat. It's completely unpopular. So for me personally and for different brands, what I recommend, why would they ask the audience to download Snapchat if they can ask, for example, download 010, where is a little bit better quality? For them, it's no matter, right, what to download, for example, because they still have to download something. But so you at first have to understand which audience is in the front of you and what you are trying to do. If you are trying to do the piece of clothing, if you're trying to do the earrings, or if you're just trying to do something for the face. Of course, there are different programs for every use case.
Yeah,
Stella?
Take it away, Stella.
Yeah, can I add to this? Because you're absolutely right. The other thing is also limitations of the different apps. So while you would have for example, Snapchat works I want to say fairly well with everything like earrings, right? And more like face tracking stuff. Like that's something that is a limitation right now of 010 app. They actually cannot handle like face accessories right now. And so that is another question, right? But then, for example, face accessories, probably, like I've seen a lot of really, really great work from Mexicano on Instagram, our good friend. He's not here right now, no? Hafid isn't here. Damn. Like he has really like the filter game with filter on, and he does really good work with everything face tracking. So the filter stuff, it works so well for face tracking. So that also depends. So it's the audience and it's the product. Because if you want to sell earrings and you're trying to get this done on 010 app, you will be very disappointed. Right now, sorry, I don't want to shame them into it, but right now it doesn't work.
Yeah, because they have different focus. Of course, they're focused on movements, on the body tracking. Of course, I don't think it's disappointing. It's just the different brand identities and what they're looking for at place. Because Snapchat is also cool for games in the world, right? As well as Instagram. They're cool to create some in-world experience. So you can do like, I'm not sure how does it call in English, like a galaxy entrance or the portal or something like this. And I think it's cool and it's great and it's interesting. But 010 is more focused on garments and clothing. And I believe there will be much more applications for like during this year, where you can actually sell your AR filter as a clothing. And for sure, we will see how AI also will affect it, because AI is not only about creating the pictures, but also about creating music, copy, like website copy, blog copy, email copy, but also about learning how our body are moving, how like persons are moving, how like our hair are affecting the garment, how the garment looks if a person has long hair. So AI is much more and much deeper than just what we are experiencing right now.
I can add to that actually.
Oh yes, of course.
Please
Go
do.
ahead.
We love your insights.
Yeah, I'll just mention. So, I guess by trade, I'm a geek. Full everything from binary all the way up to AI and beyond. I think the next stuff. But
We are all here in Web3 are geeks, I think.
but so
The finest of the fine. The finest. The finest.
it's fun to be a geek now. It used to not be so, but so I'll say what's really phenomenal, to really get your socks blown off, is if you follow some of the stuff that's been going on with the company called NVIDIA, right, because they're the company that is the leader in making the graphics cards, right? So they're making all the algorithms. Let me say it a different way. That's really not a great way to describe it. They're making the hardware, and on that hardware that they've been developing for decades allows for all this AI to run on. And to your point about hair, right? They've been developing the algorithm for doing hair and hair flow, and all this is based on model simulation.
What are we talking about again? It's really, really triggering my heart. What the fuck are we talking about? We're talking about digital hair here. We're talking about AI that will track digital hair. Loves. Life is here. Oh my god.
Go out and see the latest movie of Avatar.
That would be
Because
nice.
it's 100% they're using those
Someone
algorithms.
take me on a date.
Okay? It's just amazing, okay? And this is going to trickle down to what we're talking about here. I hope that's helpful for everybody. I think I rugged. I don't hear anybody.
No, we're all giving you 100s and hand claps.
Did I stun everybody?
No, we're all agreeing with you.
You can feel actresses, LA person's laugh
Also, yeah, I think we need a
from a
few minutes
long
to process
distance.
this information, because about the avatar, it's actually very interesting. Imagine in the future you can see them actually, I don't know, some QR code pop-ups at the end of the screen, and you can scan it.
Looks like they're holding a Metaslavic flag. Not that I know what Metaslavic flag is gonna look like, but it's very close to a broader sense of Metaslavic flag. Yeah, this article is boring as fuck, I'm sorry.
It's coming up in the future.
Absolutely. Well, let me jump in here and share something that I'm doing, because that's certainly, as I always like to say, it's certainly will not take anything away from what I'm doing to share. But so in my augmented reality explorations, I'm exploring using QR codes as the part of the augmented reality experience that comes up when you activate when you trigger it. So like when you look at the artwork, you don't see any QR code, but once you
I wonder if this whole exercise gonna end real
start the
soon,
activation,
because
it comes up maybe at the end,
still
so it
quite
kind
a lot
of shows
to
you an experience, and then
look
it
at.
offers you a place to go for.
But I'm already real bored here on looking
Yeah,
at
that's
this.
actually very
Looking at these profiles that add up nothing at all to value of culture actually, but add to mental health, disconnection, and deep pain on all levels.
To scan these QR codes, and the models were wearing just like huge QR codes, and people would see the garment, the clothing, the actual clothing, just by scanning these QR codes. And I think it's fun and engaging, and of course it's an experience, but I'm not sure where it will lead us in the future. Maybe the QR codes will be much smaller, or some other elements will start playing as well. So the models will be wearing just completely black tracksuits, and we will be able to see the whole experience in real life, accessing our phones.
Absolutely.
It's going to get extraordinarily interesting because you know when you could things you can do. QR codes, well, fundamentally what they are they're just pointers, right? They're computational pointers, not very different than NFTs, right? But what becomes very, very interesting is when we begin to think about how all these systems basically integrate together in very, very expressive ways, right? So you can clearly have the case when you throw in vision systems, right, where you're taking the QR code and you don't have to, you don't even need to have it printed, right? You can just have it, you can have it rendered, you can have it projected onto a surface, right? And then you can have another system that's analyzing that. And it could be, depending on how things are done, it could be done so that it's not even visible, right? So it's invisible, right? Or invisible to the naked eye. So things are going to get really, really interesting, really, really fast. And I hope that is useful for people to think about.
Yes, absolutely. I have a question. Sorry, what did you mean exactly by invisible QR codes? So, if somebody wants to answer this question, of course, go ahead.
Well, I don't think anybody's going to answer it because I just thought about it off the top of my head right now. But it's clearly the case.
The Fashion DAO kicked me out of their call and blocked me in one of my accounts. Imagine. What do you have to do with this Metaslavic country, dear Nina Sense?
You can take a QR code and you can project it onto something, but the ability for another system to actually perceive that from a vision standpoint, it doesn't mean that it has to be the other system just has to be able to read it, but that doesn't mean you have to see it, right? So clearly it could be invisible, right? I think I just invented something.
That's really interesting. I think, Jacob, would you speak on this? Because I was totally thinking, but this is Tag Chapper's territory right here.
I appreciate it. Yeah, so the only thing I know to date right now that would quote unquote make it sort of invisible would be if you take quantum dots, and there's ways to code the quantum dots like a QR code, and it would be invisible or like almost near invisible to the naked eye. You could only see it with infrared, but however, when the phones pull out, you could still see it. So do some research on quantum dots, and that right there could solve that issue. So there's a lot of cool things moving in with that. Actually putting the QR code
terrifying, Gloves. Terrifying.
That now you have to actually have that in-person conversation to let them know that's there, so they can then pull out their phone. So it's a little more challenging. They can't just pull out their phone and scan it because it's invisible. So there's a little language barrier you would have to get through, but other than that, it is quite possible.
Yeah, I'll vouch for is that Tapper. Yeah, you're absolutely right. There's that implementation that people are also exploring.
I see that we have a hand raised. Joshua would like to make a comment. I'm assuming on AR, and then if no one has any further on AR, I have another question I'd like to pose to the group that I think is very interesting. Joshua, go ahead.
Hi, yeah, thanks for having me. Similar to Brendan, but later, not quite as early as the late 90s. I was in the first generation of VR and then also AR. And early in AR technology, you used markers, and so a QR code is kind of a way to, like, you know, like you're saying,
I like this.
trigger
The
an
Polska.
activation of this experience or whatever. But you can also just use markers to kind of act
Very
as like
good.
the anchor on which the augmented reality is placed. And so you can make AR quote unquote invisible by just using some kind of marker that you wouldn't think is a marker. You know, it could be a logo or something like that. So when I was working in AR, you know, 10 years ago, it was just some kind of graphic, you know, that you would use. So I feel like you could still do that and it would feel seamless, I guess maybe is more of what I'm talking about, like making it seamless. It's not literally invisible. It's just something that you wouldn't normally think of as helping the augmented reality work. It's sort of integrated into the environment and you don't have to see it as this separate thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with Joshua. I have seen a few apps out there. I will try to do my research and post them to our groups, but they do use the points from an image. So you can take your image, it will calculate the points you want to use from it, and then from that you can either screen print or lay that image out onto the garment, and then it would pick up on those key points and generate just like Joshua was talking about.
I have to say, it's so wonderful to have a bunch of geeks in the room and a bunch of fashion folks. This is just awesome.
Yeah, fashion
Absolutely.
in tech, it's incredibly amazing when you start to dive into that. I completely agree.
So I have a question. I'm very interested in everyone's opinion on this. How do you think digital fashion will affect the dollar value consumers give to physical apparel?
I've got a thought on that.
How do we? Okay, I would love to hear it. Yes, let's go for it, and then we'll go to Mo and then Jacob.
I think we're entering the extreme realm of, you know, print on demand. I mean, I think it's going to be very interesting, and that's my comment.
Right on. Mo, Jacob, and then Stella, please. I'd love to hear your opinions on it.
Wow, I'm happy that you brought the print on demand into that because as myself, you guys know I mentioned I do physical to digital, and I will say I've learned a lot, especially being in the digital space, because one of the things that come with like this like industrial revolution that we're living through is the globalization, right? Where it's like your audience is now even bigger, which is why this technology is so important to continue to connect your audience, because I actually make physical tie-dyes that are like one-of-ones, but like even for example, excuse me, Stella is one of my collectors, but she's like, don't even ship it to me because it's never going to make it here. So I'm always trying to catch when she makes it into like the States or something like that, or like I made a digital twin, so she also helped make like the digital t-shirt of it. And
the thing is going to happen in the next couple of years is like the deep distribution of people in different networking networks. I mean, it's already happening, right? So we would lose each other always, and we would think like we're like these influencers in our platform, but really nobody gives a shit about us outside of our platform.
Patterns now on things and on physical merch that you can get or in your metaverse space. So it's like you can have the physical mug in your space or in real life. And so again, using these technologies like NFTs and the digital asset to be able to reach a bigger audience is what I think is powerful when you combine the two.
Well, Mo, let me ask you specifically. So how do you think that digital fashion will affect the value to the consumer of apparel that does not have a digital twin or does not have a digital component? How do you think it will affect the value of that for the consumer?
And sorry for that. That was the correct question. So I actually think it becomes more valuable because now I make one t-shirt and I'm like, you know, this is an exclusive one-of-one, and now I make like 9 patterns, and then I'll put those patterns on like flyers for social media, like I said, other merch that I'm using for all other things, so that this audience is becoming aware of the digital pattern and the digital side, but then there's like this one physical real object that it came from, and I think that is valuable and appreciated, and in the long term those one of ones are going to just continue to increase in value as their digital assets grow as well. And that's why I encourage everyone to have a digital twin. Like, I think you lose value in your physical if you don't have
what the fuck? No, that's not true. If you don't have a digital twin and whatever that means, you are much better off in physical, mental health, emotional health, general health.
Nice. Like, the next generation wants more, and I think it's fair. And I think that's how we have a society that is like that encourages people to want to join communities. And you know, really
the raw
add
doll
value to it. I
person.
think it makes communities more valuable as well. I think it increases the value all around, honestly.
I agree.
Real bad stuff. You know, the problem is that we are kind of like onboarded on these like fake influencers' opinions on things, and I've been seeing that since the Clubhouse times. Like fake influencers starting to rise, their voice starting to sound like it's truth, but it's not, and then it's just like fake AI basically talking through them to embed really bad, unhealthy patterns in us. Not good, loves. Not good. Not good for anyone. Let's go for the fashion doll that kicked me out.
To share a little bit about your insight and experience, so I'm definitely looking forward to that just momentarily. But if anybody else wants to introduce themselves, we're looking forward to it. So sorry, I will let you say hello.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for inviting me. Well, now I'm not waiting for the invite. I'm just going to be here every week because I enjoyed the conversation last week. Yes, I am a digital clothing designer, as we're so coined. I don't know what that might be later, but yeah, I have a physical collection. I've been working on that for a number of years, and literally had to turn around how I was producing, because I went from the old system where by your drawing and then creating your first concepts, etc., to realizing that made no sense whatsoever when you had tools like Clothes 3D, etc., and you could like just cut the amount of money you were spending in that respect. So looking at my supply chain, and then thinking about how do I protect my supply chain, so looking at blockchain and our labeling and what information would be given out on that, and then from that kind of space thinking about, okay, there's a whole world that exists, this digital space, that there's much more that I can do than what I'm doing. And so trying to navigate that space and find out what that really looks like, because as much as we're early, in the next however many years, that's just going to be normal. And I think we have an amazing opportunity right now. So I'm learning as much as possible. You mentioned about the AI that's going on. The things that I've come up with are just so poor. I'm just like, yeah, I need all the help that I can get. But then also thinking about, well, why do I want to do that? For me, it is just kind of, I'm really interested in what's going on in this space. I'd like to get more educated about the potential of it and what it can change within the system, like the fashion system, and what I'm trying to offer the community and how we come together. So yeah, that's me.
Thank
Such
you,
bad
thank you,
branding.
thank you both. You also hit a couple of topics that I was thinking we might be have a good audience for today, and so I'm so excited because I think that you two will have such great experience to share. Even what you just said about like learning and increasing education and what those resources are, and just like playing around. I think that might be really fun to talk about. So, is there anybody else, even as a listener, anybody in the audience want to come up and say hello to
Unless
the
you
group
kick them out of
before
stage.
we get into today's conversation? Alrighty. Okay, so I guess I'm gonna ask our speakers a couple of questions that we've been talking about in the Fashion DAO core team, and Yemi too, if there's anything that you might want to share. We have been talking a lot about fashion weeks actually, this is the first question I'd like to start off with. Do you talk about the way that the fashion system used to run as like the olden days, or like what used to be? What do we call like the before rise of digital fashion? Because I think about it as like the traditional fashion system, or
Normal times
or everything we
versus
used to do.
the mental health problem times.
Or the ice age.
Yeah, so is there a way that you come to, or anybody has come to talk about it? Because I definitely feel like there's a split, right? Like there is a moment before and there is a moment after, but I don't really know how to discuss that. So I'd love to, how do you guys approach even that conversation?
I think for me personally, every time I've entered into a room, I spent a lot of time pitching last year in different places and before different people, and I had to differentiate what was different about my brand. When I was in the States, I was before some people, and they essentially said, if you want to do just fashion as it's been done, traditional fashion, fair play to you, but there are 101 of you, there are 101 of you, a million of you, and there's a space for you. This isn't it. What you have, what you're offering is something different, and you need to recognize that difference. And it was the digital aspect. And so what I started to do was really differentiate between the traditional system and where we are now. For me, where we are now is that space where there's almost like an opportunity for a level playing field, where I don't need to be tied to some big brand to have value. I have an opportunity to show my things to the world if I can strategize well, because now the things that limited me before, like finance or opportunity, are not quite the same as they used to be. And so the big 6 or the big 7 may still be in the traditional system, but there's a couple of generations, I would say, that are rising or have risen up, and they want more than just what fashion did before. And so me, it really it's demarcated by where technology became more democratized. And I know there's still a long way to go, but where it means that you have less limitations, that's a differentiation for me. I don't have to do fashion weeks if I don't want to. That doesn't limit me.
Yeah, that's a really great point. Yemi, what do you think about? You are a resident at least on our team,
Нормально, да, смотри?
or at least much more familiar than I am with a lot of the tech that goes behind this. So, what do you think about that line of, I guess, demarcation, if you will?
You know what? Like Larry said, there is traditional fashion, but indeed, what is traditional fashion? Because when we do state it, we have to also give honor to whom honor is due. Because if that fashion did not exist, regardless of what it is that we do now, we would not have this space. Even just when I started going into learning digital fashion back in 2016, I opened Marvelous Designer Program for the first time, and I immediately realized that I needed to have the basic knowledge of pattern drafting.
Yeah.
So I went into the system and like, wow, this is amazing, this is good. I'm like, oh, but I don't know how to pattern draft.
Oh wait,
So I
we saw these
shut down
people
the
already.
system
Did I reopen
and I
just the
went to
same?
enroll in
Wow, I followed
seamstress
Nico
who taught me
before
how to
everyone
pattern
followed
draft
her.
on paper and everything.
This account.
And that was valuable knowledge. So in as much as we are having this difference, this era that is emerging and that is bringing.
Oh look, she's no longer. Oh yeah, because the fashion doll person. Yeah, but it's funny how I followed her before.
What has been is why we are
Why?
able to stand on the shoulders of those that have done what they've done before. And for me, I'm just like, digital fashion does not come. It's not coming to take away from what was. It's only coming to add value. Like all the AI systems, all the tech in fashion, the augmented reality, the everything is coming to add value. And what I would like when we do speak within the space, because most of the traditional fashion designers, it's almost like artists that learned from, the proper art schools and they know how to oil paint. And then you now have these AI generated artists just going around and shouting, I'm an artist. And they get so offended because they're like, what do you mean? Did you go to, talk about the big schools in New York or in London? Like, you don't have any art background. Who are you to come in to start claiming that you are?
Okay, we got it. That's gonna be interesting. In an hour, basically. Good times. I really don't believe in this, my loves. I really don't believe in this. I don't know. I don't feel it. I don't see how it adds up to our world. Really, just. It's really, really, really trash, my loves. Like, I mean, everything I'm doing right now is to show you how trash the internet has become. And it's always kind of been, but like without curation, without algorithms being smart and being really, really precise with what you need at the present moment and what you need for your mental health, your emotional support, and generally for development, we cannot allow these kind of platforms, platform risk. We can't allow them to dictate us what's cool and what's not, because the influencing voices here are fake. They are not balanced. They're not happy people. They are just extremely sick. Actually, some people are cute. Not gonna be lying. Not all. I think around maybe 0.1% of people that I see in these spaces have certain New York City have certain weight to them, Danya. How's Danya doing? Danya is wealthy now officially, right? Danny looks good though. Danny, you look good. Don't feel good, but at least you look good, right? your feed drop. This is Ugly as Fuck Tribute Brand. Please shut the fuck up. Tribute brands are not as beautiful as people think. Never really liked it. Guys, but you see how trash this all is, right? Like, it's like the opposite of balance. It's the technocracy that's gone mad. It's the AI that got crazy. It's the narrative that got completely off charts, wrong, and unhealthy. It's not even entertainment. I don't know the kind of people are actually interested in supporting this in terms of energy investment. Just really, really sad. Really, really, really sad. I've been reaching out to Regina from Artisan and saying, like, how you, my love, how are you doing? Are you handling everything well? No, forget about it. No answer back. After crypto, after creator economy, I like how are you thinking? Collecting covers for my YouTubes. We like Meta Label though, right? Because they're deeper. Power of groups. Deeper, more like intentional, really looking at culture from a more critical lens and yeah, idea space. What's the difference between, oh, the idea space is his Substack, that's what it is. I should write more, right, my loves? But I really enjoy this format. You guys, like, I know that not everyone's gonna be like really connecting with it and following it. But at the same time, I believe that I'm doing good work for us, preserving some culture, sharing certain things, clicking links for you that you wouldn't be clicking probably, most likely, you know. Just doing some good work for us, researching things. I think I'm not doing bad work for us. I'm doing good. Региночка, как ты, моя хорошая, мой любимый человечек, диджитальный аватарчик, маленький друг мой, как ты? Мне кажется, ты там потерялась. Yeah, I think she's a little lost. But it's okay, I mean, look, she's gotten big, you know, in terms of, not her, but, you know, she's gotten big in terms of the, being really one of the very few Web3 fashion players, igniters. It's kind of cute. Sometimes you just feel the energy of a Twitter person and you're like, okay, give you a chance. How's Kickstarter doing? Do people use Kickstarter much? Probably. This guy sounds familiar. Oh, because he was on the show. You know why I like this account specifically? Because it was running still since 2009, and I think that's quite something. You know, let's not take it lightly. About blank. Okay, that's it, guys. I think we're done for today, which I'm happy because it was quite hard for me to bear all the Twitter aesthetic. It's just like not ending. I guess I'm gonna just no, I'm gonna finish this. Oh god, I feel like I'm printing money something for us. I hope I'm doing good for us, my loves. Please tell me. Almost done. You know, I remember playing Sims and printing money, spending basically like, you know, quite some time printing money first, you know, using the Rosebud code. And yeah, I remember those codes. More housing. Interesting. Where? More housing where? Metaslavia? Come to Metaslavia to build those housing places. Way too many players in the room. What are we gonna do about it? Cambridge, MA. These people post good articles, I think. Yeah, really live in the Aquarian age of overload of info. Always possible. You know, we go crazy, really. It's too much. And we go crazy because we don't value relationships. We jump from one relationship to another, just like I don't know, like food items. Just think of relationships as something that is convenience and just consume each other, something that is a consumer product. It's not. I think people who are like in their earlier 20s really don't see how relationships need to be built for a greater results in life. I made this mistake when I was in my early 20s. I had relationships with people, and then I moved on basically, and didn't come back to that person. And it's not good. I think I would really, really be a different person if I was still in touch with certain people. But that just didn't work that way. I was just consuming relationships rather than investing in relationships. I was just using people for my own growth. And now I know that that's not the way forward. The way forward is actually to invest ourselves into, God, I like this topic so much. Invest ourselves into building meaningful connections for years ahead, not for just like a few months and then we're moving on, you know? There's nothing cool about this. This is bad. It doesn't even look good, you know? These accessories. I appreciate the fact that they're like digital fashion player from earlier times, but I just believe that we're completely lost. Oops. Yes.
Kill it in your refueling, kill it in your work, whatever it is you have on your agenda.
Don't kill it, please. Don't kill it. Just don't kill it. Anything. Mental muscles for resilience. Cohorts. God, it's so intense, so much stuff. You know, the biggest problem is gonna be that it's like we're gonna be real bad in our mental health within the next years. It's just not gonna be good for any of us. Just gonna be super tired. Super tired. How's the digital fashion group doing? This avatar. Yeah, last posts. A lot of projects will die. Just generally, like, people will be so sick from all the technocratic agenda that we put ourselves into. And a lot of projects will be just like dead thoughts. Where is this? How big is this? Wow. Big shark. So cool.
How to work a soundboard? No. I have no technical ability, and I know nothing about music.
You must know something.
Well, I know what I like and what I don't like, and I'm decisive about what I like and what I don't like.
So what are you being paid for?
The confidence that I have in my taste and my ability to express what I feel has proven helpful for artists.
Do you play instruments?
Barely.
Do you know how to work a soundboard?
No. I have no.
Where am I at? What's this thread? Like, what's the difference between just messy Twitter posts and thread? God. This looks like a website that doesn't work anymore. I think we're almost done for now. Then I'll have a fashion part 3 review. Apply now to become a member of a community. You know, yeah, it's just this exclusivity, apply now type of thing is not gonna make a cut anymore. Nobody's gonna give a fuck about your apply now situation. Nobody's gonna give a fuck about your that feels like an interesting sign. Nobody is gonna give a fuck about your private chat. Actually, you know, my private chat is better than your private chat, and I'm just gonna go on and on and on until we die. Okay. Overload of information. I wish there was like much more of like curation happening in the field of digitality generally. I wish we were much more strategic in our way of communications. It's true. People can't get their attention span in such different places. Digital creator in Louis Vuitton. Invented my profile. I don't know why I don't believe in lens. I just keep saying that, my loves, but I don't believe in lens. Almost there. Funny enough. Even I have more followers than Dream Assembly. But you know, 2020 lost posts. But you know, Dream Assembly is back. It's back. Like I'm back on Twitter. Like this place. My personal account. God, I'm so glad that we're almost done. Collective safety. There's no such thing as collective safety. Why am I not able to read Proton community posts? Oh, The Verge had a rebranding. Guys, I need a break. I'll be back.
Hello, I'm Jan Eindhoven, Code-based steward at the Foundation for Public Code.
God, I wish the time was
Governance is important, but unless you start out with a really clear vision, it might be hard to get everyone on the same page. People join code bases at various times, and when the code base is small, governance is often not a top priority. Instead, it usually becomes a priority after it's needed and when a code base is already in full implementation. If it wasn't already clear, chances are that people will have different views on what the status quo is. And when discussions are started based on different premises, misunderstandings are bound to happen. So how do you get agreement and a common understanding of the governance of your code base? The governance game is a card game designed to get people talking about the way governance is set up. It includes various starting states, a number of different actors, and different scenarios. The purpose of the game is to get consensus of how governance should work. In that sense, it is a cooperative game, a co-op game, and you only lose if you cannot agree. To make it a little more complex, there is also a few looming calamities. But the use of the game doesn't stop with the game itself. It's also a great tool to give people in your projects a shared understanding of what the state is in. Skip the starting state cards and the scenarios, and try to map out how your situation looks like. This exercise is usually very enlightening, especially when relationships and responsibilities are added. Seeing it explicit often reveal how people have different views of your code base. Discussions may lead to actual changes of the governance, or perhaps just clarifications of it so that everyone is on the same page. You can also test the governance of your code base by using the calamities on it, or even better, make special made ones from your own risk assessments. Will your governance handle these stress tests? Going even further, use the game to try to get answers for things you would like to do. Perhaps you have questions like, we feel inefficient in the way we use our resources. What if we pool them instead? Or our staff is confused what happened with issues after they are reported. If the support was organized like this, would it help our daily work? Since it's hard to meet each other right now, we also adapted it for use online. To new players, this usually requires a bit longer introduction. Apparently the mental model of moving about physical playing cards are still much stronger. But on the other hand, this enabled teams that might not be able to meet even in normal
God,
times
this is so good.
to play the game. It doesn't matter if you're distributed across continents. With the governance game, you can now get a shared understanding on how your code base works. And hopefully, get a few laughs along the way. You can also help improve the game. We want to hear from you if you feel the need for different actors, or if you have suggestions for scenarios or calamities based on your real-life experiences. It's all on GitHub, and we're open to both feature and pull requests. And if you have some stories from using the game, we'd love to hear them too.
Guys, we got in a very deep rabbit hole together. I'm gonna just finish this part first. More minutes. Wow, who writes all of this? I think we should stop using this kind of imagery for the notion of government and everything will change. What do you think? Visuals are everything. I'm drinking this Metaslavic drink called Kvass with ginger. So good. But it's like kombucha, but it's not because it's more like closer to beer. What are we doing? Extremely hardcore, for sure. Wow, the verge looks so different. The really black background on the default verge. What's going on? Don't recognize you. I want to read something, but I don't know what. Printing code. Video or GIF? Sleep where you work. It's my case. Here we are in the rabbit hole. I think it's time for us to really shut this for now. What else? Agriculture. God, this is gonna be so interesting. Okay, I'm not including this in this video. Too good. This video ranks like 1 or 2 out of 10. We love this. There's no such thing as fair representation, it's just not possible. Oof, this website. What's happening? I always love the green M&M. All right, I'm gonna go take a break, connect with people, touch myself, and reset and prepare for the fashion edition of this whole thing. But you know what? I didn't tell you this, but look at this. You also have this to run through. Let me show you. But maybe some other day. I love you.